It might be labeled the El Clasico of the Indian T20 League, but the contrasting fortunes of Mumbai and Chennai going into match number 41 of this year's edition certainly takes a bit of the shine off that label. But two pundits who are always shining and sparkling and dazzling and whatnot are Mandira, Lalvani and Ayaz Memon, who join me for another episode of Cricket Pundits as we look ahead to this matchup between Mumbai and Chennai. Ayaz, Mandira, a warm welcome as always.
Thank you very much.
Mandira, who would have thought that these two sides, who've historically been heavyweights of the Indian T20 League, would be poles apart going into the fag end of the group stage of this edition?
Certainly not me. I would not have thought for a second, especially at the start of the tournament when we were pitting them so equally, and at that point, understandably and justifiably so. However, the tables have turned, and how? You know, daddy's army, dad's army, call it what you might, but fact of the matter is that's a Thakawa team now, as we were discussing earlier, and I think their time is genuinely running out. I think hard calls for the Chennai franchise generally to make, because the next edition of the IPL is not very, it's pretty soon after this one. So they'll have to do some major chopping and changing, looking ahead. But as of now, definitely wouldn't have thought that they would be reduced to this, languishing in the bottom of the table. I mean, this is just not a familiar spot for them. As for now, you know, Mumbai is coming fresh at the back of a 4-day break. It'll be interesting to see how rejuvenated they are. I wonder if Rohit Sharma is now fit to play or not. On the other hand, Chennai really, mathematically, if they're even grasping onto some shred of a straw, I don't think they're really counting on any chances. You know, I think this is the time for them to just play the youngsters, because Dhoni's come under so much fire from the previous greats and the stalwarts of the game. Who said, you know, when he said, why didn't he a spark in the youngsters? That's hardly fair. You haven't given them much of a chance. You know, you've persisted with the old legs and the old hands, but you haven't given the youngsters such a chance. Maybe this is not a bad time to let them play, because there's really nothing to lose. If I have to pick my three each, Mumbai, definitely Rohit Sharma. I hope he's feeling well, and I look forward to seeing a good captain's knock from him. He's been fantastic. Jasprit Bumrah, of course. Curious to see whether they're going to persist with Nile or get Pattinson back in the bowling attack. So Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah and Kieron Pollard, because in case Rohit Sharma is not playing, then Pollard will probably be captain, and then we've seen that reap very rich dividends as well. As far as Chennai is concerned, let's start with Captain Cool, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. The thing is that he's come under a lot of attack, but again, he's the type whose temperament does not allow him to really get that affected by it. You know, he's got this tremendous mechanism and the shield around him, and I'm sure he's going to go down the middle and play his best that he can at this point in time. And looking forward to see the calls he makes as a captain more than that of a player. We need to give the youngsters a bit of a chance, you know, to try and shine with the ball. Shane Watson, just to throw in a foreigner there, and Piyush Chawla. I think he needs to get a few wickets to justify his place. We've looked at Jadeja through this tournament. He's trying to justify Dhoni. He's trying to say, oh, with the bat I've done well, etc., etc. But they've just not come together. So the three players are picked from Chennai are just a formality, to be honest.
Thank you so much, Mandira. Ayaz, your analysis and player picks.
Well, you know, first of all, let me say that, you know, Mumbai has been the preeminent team so far. So, pretty much, you know, a dominant team. You know, the only way the other teams have had a chance against them is through luck. And hey, look, at this point in time, if nothing else, Chennai can be spoilers. You know, I mean, Mumbai are virtually in the playoffs, but 2 points for them. Not just 2 points, maybe 4 points with their run rate are very vital for them to be in the playoffs. And to get into the top 2, they need 6 points. So, you know, Mumbai might be in the top 4 very clearly, but they might not be in the top 2 if they start losing to teams like Chennai. I can't remember a single tournament in the last 13 years where Dhoni has not played at least one spectacular knock so deep into the tournament. You would have by now seen, you know, it takes a little time to get adjusted, this, that, and the other. But then he comes up with these match-winning knocks, which we haven't seen this time. My picks from both the teams, Mumbai, I picked Quinton de Kock. He's been in sparkling form. Jasprit Bumrah, certainly, and Rohit Sharma. And because I've chosen Rohit, I'll also choose Dhoni for Chennai, because there's something about, you know, leading players becoming, you know, captains, and there's a little bit of an ego battle to be won there or lost. Sam Curran, perhaps the most impressive of their players, despite not getting tall scores or picking up 3 wickets or whatever, something like that. And the third choice would be, I think, Ambati Raidu. Ambati Raidu has been threatening to make those big scores. Not yet happened. He's getting those 30s, 40s, but he's a very versatile player. Against spin also, he's extremely good against spin, and that might become crucial against guys like Kieron Pollard and Krunal Pandya and Rahul Chahar. So these are my three picks from Chennai.
And speaking of Chennai's infirmities, certainly doesn't need a PhD in rocket science or any genius algorithm to pick Mumbai being triumphant in this one, Mandira.
Absolutely. Let's not even bother with the reasons. It's for Mumbai all the way.
Ayaz, you as well?
Of course. Look, not just for reasons of being part of Mumbai, the city, but it just looks so lopsided currently that you have to be really, really brave or really foolish to say that Chennai will win.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So Ayaz and Mandira, unsurprisingly, expecting Mumbai's marauding army to come out on top against Chennai's rather floundering one. Thank you so much for having joined us for another episode of Cricket Pundits, and we look forward to your company in the next episode as well as we build up to match number 42 of the Indian T20 League. Until next time, stay safe, take care, and cheers.